That's pretty cruel.
That joke is what made me just come to the point that, somebody's social security number probably was 1, and they just gone steadily up since then.
We are recording, you guys.
Oh, cool.
We're discussing the intricacies of social security numbers today
Our
on
social security numbers didn't go out.
Glory Friends podcast. Glory, glory. Hallelujah.
We're going to crack the randomness of the social security number assignment.
This is like a beautiful mind type thing.
Yeah.
We're going to see how long Bane will sit in on the podcast.
Our special guest today is Bane Hollifield, Ray's dog.
He's just chilling.
He's the one that you hear crying in the background of every one of our episodes.
Because I crate him. We also have Chad Nicefield here with us today.
I'm Chad Nicefield.
Chad is the lead singer of the band Wilson.
I do that.
And he is a big part of helping us put together Big Time Garbage Fest, which is happening Thursday.
I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, buddy.
We're happy to have you. My first hard-hitting question for you, Chad.
Neat.
Did you name your band Wilson because Wilson Phillips was taken?
Yes.
I figured. That was a really
Finally,
clever...
somebody got it. Usually
Totally.
It's like the volleyball and Castaway. I'm like, no. It's actually supposed to be Wilson Phillips.
I thought so. Do you guys do a cover of Hold On by any chance?
Should have went with Will
They
Phil.
won't do it. I mean, the rest of the guys are so like bitter about the situation that they just try to distance themselves from anything Wilson Phillips related.
Well, I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but I think you should go solo and just do Wilson Phillips covers.
My mother says the same thing.
I'll sing harmony parts with you.
Really?
I'll do it. Yeah.
All right,
I'll be Carney Wilson.
Ray, you have to be Carney Wilson.
After I ate through
Oh my
lap
God, you
band
guys, we have a
surgery.
group Halloween costume.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We can really
Wilson
do it.
Phillips. Is there 3 people in that band?
There's 3 people in that band.
Okay, well.
I don't have to be in the band.
Oh, all right.
You guys can be in the band. I'll be the
I was
tour
just going to
manager.
say one of us could die.
Oh, yeah. I'll die.
Like, maybe we'll fight to the death and who gets to be the third. Who is it? So it's Carney Wilson, right? And then there's another Wilson, and then China Phillips, right?
Yeah.
Those are the 3. How do I remember?
Yeah, I was going to
this?
say, wow.
I could just I could just be Wilson from Home Improvement.
Oh, my God. Perfect.
Laura's never seen Home Improvement.
That's true. That's true. I know the show, and I know Wilson's a famous character on the show. Is that Tim Allen's character?
No, he's the next door neighbor. You never see his face. You only see his eyes because
okay.
he talks to him over the fence.
Yeah, that could be a clever costume.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At one point when the band, like, you embrace it after a while, you know, like, it's cool, whatever, you know, but we were going to make this t-shirt of all, like, a cartoon version of all these different characters that are named Wilson, just getting, like, totally destroyed by us, you know,
yes.
like in an epic battle royale to death, you know, and it just says, not that Wilson.
Kill all the Wilsons.
The other band your band's name makes me think of immediately is Nelson. Do you remember them?
That's even that's on the internet, like when like like somebody does a review of something on, like, you know, like Rolling Stone puts something out and it's like a review of the band, and then the first comment is always like, do you mean Nelson? And I'm like, I had no idea who Nelson was until that sort of like thing kept happening.
Weren't
to
they
us.
Ricky Nelson's sons, right?
No, they're these 2 beautiful women, twin sisters.
Ricky Nelson's twin daughters. My mom was obsessed with Ricky Nelson.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, who's
Obsessed?
Ricky
Like
Nelson?
you used to like.
Yeah, like she loved him. Like he was kind of
Camp
like
out
an
in front of his
Elvis
house.
type dude, wasn't he? And then it sounds like a country singer, but he was kind of like a
Yeah, he was like a teen idol kind of back in the
Elvis
day when
kinda
you're.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Willie's shitty brother, younger brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your mom like sneaks onto his property and like steals stuff out of his trash. That kind of obsessed.
No, just like
Okay,
listening to his music all the time.
it's close enough.
Yeah.
To obsessed.
Oh yeah, Willie.
Talking about how she wants
Check
to bang
this
him and
out.
shit.
She tells you that?
Yeah, my mom's crazy.
Yeah.
No.
My mom used to tell me that about Barry Manilow, which we've discussed on this podcast before. But she put it much more. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wasn't it like he can put his shoes beside my bed anytime?
It was under my bed. But you were so close, and it warms my heart that you remember that.
My parents were immigrants. They were only obsessed with like prime time, like soap operas and weird comedies.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like Escaping War or something.
No, my parents loved that show Sledgehammer.
I don't think I know that show.
It was just a guy with a really big gun, and he was just like a detective, and that's basically what the show was.
That's why you're gay now.
Yeah, the really big gun.
Was your
No, my parents used to watch that show too.
Never heard of
They
this.
used to watch that. They used to watch Spencer for Hire.
Yeah,
I have heard of that. I have heard of that one.
Wait, is that a soap opera?
No, that one was
like
more
a nighttime soap opera.
Yeah, but that one was like more comedic though. Like there was more comedy in that
one. It was Robert Urich.
Yeah. And then Knots Landing. They used to love that.
I was landing with my mom all the time.
Wasn't that around when Miami Vice was around?
Yeah.
My mother was obsessed with that as well.
Even the name of that show as a child, I was like, nope, that has to be boring. I'm not watching that.
Yeah, I would watch soap operas with my mom all the time. Knots Landing was a big one.
Yeah.
My grandmother watched The Young and the Restless. So I do remember there was a woman on the show when I was younger named Cricket, because that stood out to me because I didn't know that you could name a person Cricket. But I also used to try as a child to by ear play the piano, to play the theme song to Young and the Restless on the piano to try to figure it out. Because I was a little musical genius, just trying to figure out soap opera jingles.
So I know this isn't a soap opera, but has anybody seen the show Perfect Strangers?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was
TGIF was. I would stop playing with my friends at 8 o'clock on Friday because TJF was going to start.
That's a good show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just was thinking about it the other day, and I was kind of I was really high watching Netflix, and there was like some other like sitcom that came up from that time in my life, and I was like, whoa, what about Perfect Strangers? And then I went like down a Belky Bartakamus like hole or whatever.
Yeah.
This is very ironic, but Bronson Pinchot was just on Action Bronson's new show on Viceland.
I love that show.
Yeah, that untitled Action Bronson show.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah.
I don't
Bronson.
know
It was just intriguing how the Bronsons came together.
Name? Larry.
Yeah.
Larry and Belky.
Yeah.
Cousin Larry.
Yeah, Cousin Larry.
Cousin.
Did you watch Perfect Strangers, Laura?
I did. As a child, I watched that show. I liked it. I thought it was
when
very
did
funny.
you stop caring about anything popular? Because you obviously...
Probably like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a hard stop?
Pretty much, yeah. I was like, yep, I'm too old for any of this shit. I don't care anymore.
Respect.
I don't want to be on the internet or care about what's popular.
So wait, when did you start doing comedy?
Yeah, kind of about that same time.
That's like the perfect time to stop paying attention to pop culture when you're just supposed to be like making fun of it.
It's I find it's working well for me, so I'm taking a different tact. It's fine.
Just 5-minute chunks on Perfect Strangers and Young and the Restless.
That's right. Yeah, we're taking you through the television shows of yore on today's episode of The Glory Friends. You are
This is
so
what this
welcome.
podcast is, Chad. I don't know if you ever listened to it. We just usually start reminiscing about shit. Sometimes I'll tell a story about my dad beating somebody up.
And frequently, Alex will tell us stories of abhorrent hookups that he's had with men in random places like storage units.
This is great. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I fit right in. My
2
dad
weeks
beats up
ago,
people, too.
2 weeks ago, he talked about fucking somebody in an RV that was in a storage unit.
Check that
No, it wasn't
episode
in a
if you're new to this
storage unit.
podcast.
It was on the lot of a storage unit.
Okay.
And he kept it there in the wintertime when he wasn't using it. So
To fuck men in.
well,
Yeah,
I'm sure that
quit
was one of
acting
the-
like this isn't perfectly reasonable, normal. It's fine.
Wait. So this dude took you recently to a
No, this was a
cold-ass
couple
RV?
years ago.
Oh, okay. What is during winter?
Yeah.
And he didn't even gentlemanly like turn on some sort of heat?
No, yeah, he turned it on. Like,
Oh.
he's got it running and the heat was going and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well,
But we met up in a parking lot nearby to like make sure like we weren't like crazy.
yeah.
And then I followed him back to the RV.
Wait.
And you're like,
So
yeah,
you
we're both
decided
crazy.
in a parking lot that you weren't crazy? Like, oh no, we're totally gonna fuck in
Even-
that RV.
Even if he was crazy, I don't think you wouldn't have not gone to the RV to fuck him.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder what is it that meeting in a parking lot can help you figure out mental health wise about the person that you might be having a random hookup with. Like, is it just like you look at them and like you're just like, okay, no, you look crazy, and then you drive away?
Well, I think a big indicator of mental health is how much garbage do you have in your car.
I was gonna say the
Oh.
same exact thing.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
yeah. So that's how when you meet
It's
guys
a
in parking
completely-
lots.
That's exactly
Okay.
how I.
You're
how
like,
I-
too many McDonald's cups. Go on, buddy.
No,
Actually-
if you have
So
just
would I be
like
crazy then?
no. If you just have like a single layer of garbage just covering like the bottom of the car, that's like perfectly sane. But if you have stacks of old newspapers and blankets and clothes, it's like, ooh, I don't know, this guy might stab me.
Yeah,
Or
there's
that's
3
me.
cat carriers. They all have cats.
Two clean cars.
Too clean is a psychopath.
Yeah, there are two. There's two. I agree because
Yeah.
I do this with females as well.
Yeah.
I make sure that they're absolutely 100% garbagely insane. Their cars must be disgusting or extremely clean, because then I know that it's going to be fun.
All right.
If two gay guys,
they're looking for a relationship.
if two gay guys have completely spotless cars, the only thing they're going to do is just touch the tips of their dicks together, and then that's the end of the night.
Well,
It's
that's
not going to
probably
get too dirty.
That's probably just because like they're both probably virgins. And
Yeah.
touching dicks is just going to be the thing that does it.
They're trying to absorb each other's
Cleanliness
souls.
is next to godliness. So we know that as a fact.
Laura, is it the same thing with lesbians, but instead of garbage, it's dog hair? How much dog hair is in someone's
Yeah,
car?
for sure. Absolutely. It's like, can I see in your back windows, or are they completely smudged with dog nose prints? Yeah, completely. Yeah.
That's
My
awesome.
car is totally gross.
If you have a
Much
lot of
grosser
dog hair
than-
in your car, our first date will be me moving my stuff in.
Yep. Yep. That's essentially how it works. Yeah.
I got a question then. So what about cats? Are they like not a socially accepted animal in the lesbian community?
Not by me.
Me either. I'm not in the lesbian
There's
community.
dog lesbians and cat lesbians, then, because I'm sure there's lesbians that love cats.
Yeah,
It's
because
gotta-
lesbians are just like people, and some people love cats.
Get outta here.
I know, it's so weird. I hate to dispel these kinds of myths and rumors on this podcast.
We used to go to like euchre parties all the time, and one of the people that would have the euchre parties every now and then were lesbians, and they had a mixed home, cats and dogs.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
that
thought
does
you meant
happen
black and
sometimes,
white
for
kids.
sure.
See, that's okay. When they only have cats, I feel like that's where it goes south really quickly.
Just cats.
Yeah, I think if you have more than one cat and no dog, there's like a problem.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of cats. I mean, I don't wish harm on any cats. I don't want anything bad to happen to them, but I do not want one at
Yeah.
all.
As long as they stay in their part of the world and stay out of your part of the world, it's all good.
I just want to say to the cat people out there, and this is probably going to be something that causes us to get a furious amount of hate mail. So apologize in advance, everybody.
Laura,
Clean your cat boxes more often.
Oh.
You can't smell it because it's your house and it's your
Yeah.
cat. But seriously, your visitors can. And so seriously, your cat will also be happier. Like, wouldn't you rather go in a clean box if you do that? If you were to use a box?
That's always the first thing that Keith notices whenever we go over anybody's
When I go to someone's house and I can't tell that they have a cat, I'm just like, you're awesome. This is amazing. But if I go in their house, I'm like, oh, yeah, you clearly have cats.
That's also the first thing he asks anyone who comes to our house for the first time.
Yeah?
Like, can you smell the cats?
What, do you have cats?
Yeah, we have 3.
That's not what he said to
Three?
me.
Yeah, we have 2
You have a
dogs
dog?
as well.
Okay, so you canceled 2 of them out. Okay.
That's not what he said to me the first time I came to your house.
What did he say to you?
He has recording equipment set up in the shower.
The first thing he said to you is there's recording equipment in the shower.
Actually, before I even got there, he said, because me and Alex were going to a show and I had to leave work early and I didn't have time to come home. So I was like, can I just shower at your place? And he was like, yeah. And so he told Keith, like, Ray's going to come over and shower before we go to the show. So Keith texted him, and then Alex sent me a screenshot of the text, and he said, I got all the recording equipment set up. So record
Wow.
Ray showering.
Nice. They better be giving you some money from those YouTube residuals. Is that how that works? I don't know. I don't understand.
Oh
the
no, he's
internet.
big on Tumblr.
Yeah.
That video's got a lot of reblogs.
Nice. Oh, I
Wouldn't it
forgot
also
about
have,
Tumblr.
like, a tripod and everything with like a little tape recorder camera.
It's just
Keith's
it's just a
nickname,
phone
too.
duct taped to the tile.
Tripod is
iPhone
Keith's
2.
nickname.
Hey, yo, tripod.
That's great.
So what's going on current event-wise this week, you guys? I
Oh,
rely
man.
on you to tell me what's happening.
The Silverdome didn't explode today.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I saw just some pictures that said, here's a before, during, and after shot of the explosion. And I was like, they messed up one of the pictures because it looks the same. I guess they expected it to completely collapse and it didn't.
That is how strong the Lions' curse is.
Right? There you
The
go.
Silverdome will not go down.
I saw one of the last shows to ever take place at the Silverdome. It was like this big Bollywood spectacular with this composer named A.R. Rahman, who's like the John Williams of Bollywood movies. And the day of the show, we were driving to the Silverdome. We were kind of like, I can't believe we're going to the Silverdome. This is so weird. And there were police directing traffic away from the Silverdome because this elaborate, huge stage setup, because there was like dancers and like an orchestra. It was a big deal. Collapsed like completely. Like the pictures of it, I don't know how nobody died. But the stage collapse was so dramatic and so complete that they had to cancel the show and reschedule it. And then like a month later, they did the show. And then like a month after that, the Silverdome didn't exist anymore. I was like, who knows how unsafe this place was when we were all in here.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I watched a video and it was like
The video is great.
The
though.
controlled demolition. Like you just see the explosions all around the base and literally nothing. Like not even a brick or a wall. Like it just was like.
You know, it would be hilarious if it would be hilarious if it generated enough like dust to where you just couldn't see anything, and then it just settles and it's still standing.
And then you just hear someone go, God damn it.
Should this shut down fucking 9/11 truthers? Like a controlled demolition can't even bring down the fucking Silverdome. It's like.
My favorite part was the 1 minute and 27 seconds after the explosion, the controlled explosions, because the camera just kept rolling, and you could tell that like there was a lot of confusion. People were waiting, they're like something's gonna happen, and they're like, ooh, and then all of a sudden it just like shuts off. You're like, this fucker isn't going down.
We gotta wait for the second set of explosions.
Yeah, just 100. What was 87 seconds of just people staring at the Silverdome, waiting for something to happen.
Furious at all the money they just wasted on explosives.
Yeah.
Good job, Oakland County.
Yeah.
Good job. I just blame them. I'm sure it's their fault. I blame L. Brooks Patterson. It's got to be his fault in some way.
Yeah, that guy's a real piece of shit.
He's a
isn't he?
total
Piece of shit.
asshole.
Yes.
Yeah, he really is.
He got into that car accident a couple years ago, and everybody was
Cheered.
Yeah, well, no, everybody was like showing him all kinds of sympathy, and it's like, what are you? He's a dick. Fuck him.
He came to the opening of a movie theater that my ex-girlfriend had like worked on. It was this big new theater they built in, I want to say Troy.
And he's like, there's too many black people here.
No, but he did make a colonoscopy joke like during his little thing, and I just was like, read the room. What is wrong with you? Like, no one here wants to hear your gross colonoscopy joke, you
About
weirdo.
his own colon?
I can't remember. I just
I think
remember
would be
being
awesome.
like, why are you talking about this? Shut up, old man.
Think about L. Brooks Patterson's asshole.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm like. Wow,
I know,
this guy just
that's-
painted a picture of his
It's all loose and
70-year-old butthole.
It's all
I am so
hemorrhoidy.
sad that I opened this door. I've never, this is the first time in my life I've ever wished for a
Flappy.
time machine. I just want to go back 15 seconds. That's all I want. Oh, God.
unlike Alex, none of us have thought about L. Brooks Patterson's asshole.
I'm on Alex's side. I've thought, being in Pontiac for as long as we have with the Crowfoot and all this stuff, I've thought about his butthole a whole lot.
He made me think about it. It was his fault.
Yeah.
He said it. Asshole.
I'm looking at a Jezebel article right now, and I haven't read it because I'm just looking at it right now, but the headline is Pamela Anderson says Weinstein's accusers should have known better.
Cool. That's very cool. My
Sounds
personal...
like somebody's mad they didn't get harassed.
Yeah, I
right?
know.
I don't know if you guys know this. I love Morrissey, like more than almost anyone probably does, and he fucking said almost the same thing.
Yeah, I was going
And
to
it
ask
made
you
me
about that.
so mad that I did not buy his new album, and I did not go see him when he was here last, and that would be the first time I haven't seen him in Detroit since 1998.
And you've bought tickets for the last 4 canceled shows.
Yes, I sure fucking have. And I'm just like, it's so frustrating to me because I love his music, and yet he says the dumbest fucking stuff. It's like he's just, at this point, sounds like a doddering old man who just needs to shut the fuck up. But
Yeah.
he's one of those people that's so insulated from reality. Like, he has his yes men that surround him.
Yeah.
That, you know, he doesn't have anyone to be like, dude, zip your fucking mouth. Why are you saying this shit in interviews, you moron? But that's what he does. So I'm just like, we're on a break, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to see other people.
Are you
This
vegan?
I am not. I'm vegetarian, though.
Okay. Just to talk about Morrissey really quickly, we've booked him a few times, you know?
Yeah.
And one time at the Royal Oak Music Theater that he played, he tried to say that he wouldn't go on stage until the surrounding restaurants by Relic Music Theater would, unless they agreed to not serve meat while he was performing.
That does not surprise me at all.
I'm not going to go on
so
till Lockhart's goes out of
awesome.
business.
I just don't know where his mind is with it. If he's just like, this is fucked up and I'm going to do it, or if he's that serious. Do you think? I mean, you're a fan. So.
I do think he's serious, but I also think there's a certain level of, if I get them to do this, then that tells me a lot about how much they will bend the fuck over for me. Because from what I can tell, and again, you might know more than me as an insider with booking him, but he seems like an extremely difficult person to work with.
Oh yeah, in that world, yes, but I'm not a fan. I like the Smiths. I don't like anything that Morrissey's ever done.
That's fine.
So sorry.
I'm not.
But so I
totally
don't know.
fine.
So I don't read things about him. I don't know like if his character is like, if he's got a funny bone in him or something like that. And that might be just something like waka waka, or
he does have a weird sense of humor, but no, that kind of shit, I don't think he's being funny at all. I think he's just being like very like, no, this is the rock I will die on.
He's making power moves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in a lot of respects, I do think that. I mean, he's definitely done music festivals where he has said, I won't play this music festival unless all your vendors in this festival don't sell meat. Like, he does that. And frankly, fine. If he wants to make those kinds of demands, I don't care. That's fine. I mean, good luck finding people who are going to be willing to work with you. But, I like the fact that he stands by his convictions that way. But also, I'm aware of the fact, as someone who reads an enormous amount about him, that he is a terrible vegetarian. Like, one of his favorite foods is Cheez-Its. Come on.
Sounds like you.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's part of the reason why we've been married for so long.
I just had to throw that out there. I've always wondered. Guess how many restaurants didn't serve meat when he was playing?
I'm sure they were like, "Fuck that dude. Yeah. Who is he? I'm not doing that."
Zero restaurants stopped serving meat while he was playing.
I don't doubt it. The last time I saw him was at the Masonic Temple, actually. Yeah. And while he was on stage, more than once, he basically made comments about what a dump it was.
Yeah.
What a fuck face.
I know. But
I was there. I was like, you chose the room, dude. The options, and this is where you said you wanted to go.
Yep.
It's the Masonic Temple. It's been around since 1920, maybe even before that, actually. Like,
The time I saw him before that was at the Royal Oak Music Theater.
Yeah.
And during his encore, literally the last song, in the middle of the last song, someone tried to jump on stage and a bouncer was rough with them. And he turned to his band and they stopped playing. And then he turned back to the audience. He said, "Thank you, the Royal Oak." And he left. And I was like,
the Royal Oak.
And this was like a show where I was right up front. Like I almost touched his hand. Like that's how close I was. And I just was like,
how long did he play for before that happened?
He usually plays for an hour and a half, hour 45 tops, which frankly I love, because I don't like going to see bands who play for like 4-5 hours. Like I don't have that kind of stamina.
Yeah.
And even if I'm a fan of you, now I feel trapped.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't leave or else I'm a bad person, but I can hardly stand up anymore and I'm so tired. And you already played the songs I like. See, I'm old at this point. I just can't deal with that. I saw the Dresden Dolls once and I think they played for 19 hours. Like I just was like, you have 2 albums. How is this happening? I felt like it was never going to stop. It was a great show. They did a great job, but I just was exhausted by the time it was over.
That's how I felt when I was all excited to go see Henry Rollins spoken word for the first time when I went.
Oh,
fucking 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
like
that's a
sitting
long time.
In a shitty theater seat. I'm like, I'm really enjoying this, but I gotta fucking go, dude. Like this is fucking
right.
Was
my
that
legs.
Flint?
No, first time I went was in Ann Arbor at the State Theater there.
Yeah, one of the best concerts I've seen was The Roots.
Awesome.
And they played for 4 hours.
No, actually, I don't remember how long it was, but it didn't feel like very long. It felt like just right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty sweet. They did a lot of like weird stuff. Like I think it was when Phrenology came out. That was like I think their third album. The album itself had a lot of experimental stuff. So like a song would end and they would just go into some like weird instrumentation. And they did that after one of their songs. They just went to this like really long instrumentation. Then all like out of nowhere, they just switched to Nirvana Team Spirit, and like Black Thought just did the whole like perfect. Just like he killed it.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would love that.
That's cool. Concerts rule.
What other good concerts have you been to? What was your first concert?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
I know mine. It was the Bangles.
Yeah.
At Pine Knob.
Did did you go by yourself?
No, my dad took us.
What was your first concert on your own with your friends?
On my own with my friends. It's so hard to say because
mine would be the Monkees, and I don't count because my dad.
My parents drove me to so many concerts. I don't know. I don't even know what the first one I went to with my friends. It's so hard to say.
I think my first one was the first Eminem 50 Cent concert downtown.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
By yourself?
With my friends.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's way cooler than mine.
No,
that's kind of interesting. I don't remember.
Wilson Phillips.
Wilson Phillips. And then I was like, I'm going to start a band named Wilson.
There's the origin story, you guys.
I don't know. I didn't start going to concerts until later, though. So
how old were you when that happened?
I don't know. I think I was early 20s or something like that.
What room do you remember?
It was at Ford Field.
Oh, okay. So it was like a massive.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of that time period. It was the same week I saw at Clutch Cargo's the Deftones and Limp Bizkit in Will Haven. And
I used to fucking love Will Haven.
Me too.
So good.
Funny story about that band. And then that same week I saw Incubus, Far, and I forget who else it was, but it was in the Shelter, and Incubus in the Shelter. So that must have been 99 or 98. Yeah, and that was the same week. I went with my friends from Port Huron or whatever to the show.
Yeah.
I went to Lollapalooza with my friends, the one that was with when Red Hot Chili Peppers headlined. It was Red Hot Chili Peppers, Pearl Jam, Ministry, Jesus and Mary Chain, Lush. It was amazing.
Yeah,
The lineup was amazing.
Did you guys do any drugs?
I did not do drugs at that time at all. I did have this energy drink that they were selling there that had some caffeine and amino acids in it. And I was really sensitive to caffeine as a teen.
Biloba.
It made me nuts. It totally did make me feel totally nuts. But it was a good time. I had a really good time. A guy did try to hand me a joint during ministry because I was going crazy and dancing, and I just was like, no thanks.
I remember I went to the Warped Tour once, and it was right when energy drinks were starting to get really popular, and I think it was called Josta.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And they're no, it's all natural. It's got ginseng in it. I was like, this shit tastes like fucking old coffee mixed with Coke. This sucks shit.
Do you guys remember when you'd have to spend the night outside of a Harmony House to get tickets to a concert?
Yeah, the first concert that I was going to buy tickets to was Pantera and White Zombie, and my older brother took me. We waited in line at Harmony House, and we were the first ones there. And they came out. That's when they started doing the lottery shit because so people wouldn't come so early, and I didn't know that. So me and my older brother were the first people there, and then they come there's maybe 75 people behind us. They come out and do a fucking lottery. We were in the last quarter of the line.
That's so shitty.
I'm this sucks, man. I was in 10th grade, I think. So I went and bought the tickets, and for some reason, it was 3 months away. For some reason, when it came up, I didn't want to go anymore.
Oh man!
So I ended up selling them. So my first concert that I went to with my friends was MXPX. It's a Christian punk band.
Yeah.
Clutch Cargos.
Oh gosh.
Well, yeah, that was the first. Because my mom was really I had to lie to her and tell her oh, it's a Christian. It was a Christian band, but I would be it's at a church, Mom, and so she would let me go somewhere with my friends.
It's called St. Andrews. My mom, before they did the lottery, when you could, it still was whoever gets there first. On more than one occasion, spent the night in the parking lot of Harmony House with us to get tickets for New Kids on the Block. More than once. My mother did that.
Your mom is so cool.
Yeah.
One time I went at the Harmony House in Hazel Park.
She's really not cool. She's very nice. She's not cool. She's very nice.
The Harmony House in Hazel Park, they had a midnight sale for Rage Against the Machine's second album when it came out, Evil Empire. And Z-Rock was the sponsor of it. Do you remember Z-Rock?
No.
It was 102.7, the metal station. And they were going to do this thing where they were calling it You Get the Rage Against the Machine. They put this shitty car in the parking lot, and they were going to give us all sledgehammers. And we were going to just let us beat the shit out of this old car after we bought the Rage Against the Machine album. So we go there. There's 25 people there. And we go in, we buy the album at midnight, and then we come out to get our sledgehammers, and there's 13 fucking cop cars in the parking lot, and they were going to ticket Z-Rock for inciting a riot.
Oh my god!
If they gave us the sledgehammers and let us hit the car. Then
Lame.
So like there was like a standoff for like 30 minutes. I was like, are they going to let us fucking wreck this car or like what's going on? Like, fuck you, pigs. Yeah.
It's actually
You guys just
No, we ended up leaving.
You guys end up just rushing the cop cars and flipping them over.
I'm like, let's really rage against the machine, you fucking pussies.
It sounds like the marketing person over there at the label made a really great decision, because not only, and a very expensive decision, but not only did they have to orchestrate all of those things, or all those like locations that they were doing. Z-Rock definitely wasn't just like, we're gonna buy a car special for this thing. Somebody at the label was like, we're going to send you a car. You're going to do this thing. These kids are going to smash it.
Yeah.
This cop showed up. It made it feel like you were part of raging against the machine for real.
It was a conspiracy.
Yeah, exactly. Metadata.
It was all part of the experience.
So many kids are like, and that's the day I decided I hate cops.
Yeah, exactly. And loved Rage Against the Machine forever and ever. It's crazy.
I'll show you Riot.
Did you? So you didn't get to hit the car? Nobody.
No, nobody did.
Oh.
My older brother was with me, and he had some fucking crazy ass friends, and they were just like, let's just fucking charge the cops with the sledgehammers. And I was like, I gotta go to school tomorrow. I should go home.
That's awesome. So is the dog sleeping?
Yeah, dude. He must have really missed me, because he's never this good.
No, he's being great. I was convinced that all the cords would have been ripped out by now.
He's just like curled up in a donut, snuggling with me.
Bane is such a good, sweet boy. He is such a good dog. I love that dog.
This is the Bane that people rarely see.
Mm-hmm.
The Bane that ran across the posters. That's the Bane everyone's like, I don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
with
he
this
almost
dog.
destroyed the posters
That
before
doesn't
you got
surprise
here.
me.
He was doing a cute little dance on the floor when he came down, too. It looked like a jig or something. Who's the dancing on the ice guy, or start what? The ice guy that dances on the ice. Do you know what I'm talking about? Michael.
Yeah, the guy that dances on the ice.
I'm thinking of Michael.
Michael Flatley, the Lord of the Dance.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything on the ice. They just sometimes put that
I think
on
that would be
ice.
dangerous to do on ice. In fact,
Yeah.
they do a lot of hopping.
We should challenge Michael to do it on ice if he thinks he's so bad.
I can't believe that shit got as popular as it did. Like, that would sell out the Palace.
Dancing on with this.
No, Michael Flatley, Lord of the Dance.
White people are stupid.
Oh my god, man! When I used to do community theater, people would have parties at their houses, like after shows and whatever. And I went to this one party, and there were about 30 or 40 people there, and they were just enthralled with this like Irish opera. Like, have you guys ever seen this?
No.
It's like Celtic opera or something like that. And 38 of the 40 people there were just captivated. And me and this one other guy were just like, what the fuck are we doing?
Let's go blow each other in this RV in a storage unit.
Well, that's actually the prequel to that story.
Oh.
Nailed it. I knew it.
That's how you knew he wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
He wasn't enthralled.
He wasn't
by the
enthralled
fucking
by the Celtic
Celtic
opera.
Isn't it Celtic?
Is it Celtic? I don't know, man.
Get your
I watch
shit
sports.
together.
I call them Celtics.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Why is the Celtics? Why is that the only time it's Celtics? Everything else
Because
is
somebody
Celtic.
probably fucked up and was too stubborn to change it. And they're like, wait a second.
Because you're talking about sports fans. They're not the brightest all the time.
Fans just changed it for them. Whatever, just let them call it what they want.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how like quickly you'd get your ass kicked if you were like just in conversation, the Boston Celtics? You know, just like the word Neanderthal is actually pronounced Neanderthal. It's not TH, it's Neanderthal. Really? Who would say that? You'd sound like such a pretentious
Neanderthal.
dick. Right. I would punch you in the face if you said
I
it
remember
correctly.
when I first started getting into metal, I was like, I'm going to check out Celtic Frost. And everyone's like, it's Celtic Frost, you fucking asshole.
People get really deep. I know that one. And also Neanderthal, I think it sounds like you have a speech impediment if you say Neanderthal.
I agree.
It sounds like you're just like a small child.
You sound like a Neanderthal.
You're being a bunch of Neanderthals.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like you said it wrong and
Shut
you're
up,
a moron.
stupid.
So at this point, the people who are wrong are now right, and the people who are right need to shut the fuck up. That's how I feel about that word.
Oh my God.
It's evolved. It's evolved.
I've got
Language
something
does that.
to argue with one of my friends now about, and I'm really excited to argue with him about it.
I have a real problem with people who are like really about grammar and stuff. Like, first of all, the English language is idiotic. It doesn't follow rules very well. It's kind of difficult to learn if you don't know it. And I feel like it's so ridiculous to be like, you forgot one of the stupid rules that don't make sense. Fuck you. Like, I just don't know why people feel so like proud of themselves for pointing that kind of shit out. Like, it's you and I, or shut the fuck up. Who cares? Everyone knew what you meant.
They're just a person that's waiting in any situation to show that they're better than someone, and it's just like,
I do think that's part of it.
I did a joke. It was more just like a premise one time, and it was kind of about that. It was like along the lines of like, the only thing about grammar rules is just making things not sound weird. Like, there's no real rule. It's just like, let's make this not sound like a weird thing.
Like phonetically pleasing?
Yeah.
I think that's fair to a certain degree. To me, the biggest part is, did your idea come across? Do I understand what you're trying to convey?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why I hate the internet so much, because of the fact that people will just shut someone down if they have like grammar or spelling errors.
Yeah, that pisses me off so much.
Because what you're doing is you're shutting down their idea completely based on this dumb superficial rule list that you have.
Yeah.
And I also sometimes think to myself, how do you know that person doesn't speak 3 languages or 4, you idiotic moron who can only speak English? Like, so many people who speak English as a second language, when they fuck stuff up and people make fun of that, I'm just like, you are such an asshole. Like, this person can speak more languages than you.
Yeah.
And they can't speak your language perfectly. So you're going to point that out and be like, I'd love to see you write, sorry, we're closed in Chinese. Let's see how well you fucking do that.
Actually, it's a tattoo I have that I got by accident.
Sorry, guys. I just got on a little.
No, I thought it was great. I was like, oh, Laura is so smart.
That's true.
That's why she
gentlemen.
does that, just so she can show.
No, it's because I'm so my intellectual rage builds up, and then I just have to let it out on this podcast. No, I just honestly, it's because I am very tired of people who have good ideas being shut down for stupid reasons. And as we've seen, like, this horrible divide grow worse as far as like socioeconomic and social status and all that stuff. You know, people who don't have very much have very little in the way of a voice. And when they do get a chance to say something, we're like, wrong use of grammar, and we kick them back down. And it just pisses
like,
me off.
A-E-I-O-U,
Wrong there, moron.
Right. Yeah, that's not a conjunction, you asshole.
Maybe if you learn the
That's a good
difference
point.
between there, and there, I'll listen to poor people.
Right? Exactly. Mm-hmm. Sorry, your schools are all closed because of us.
Don't try to move to my town.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't go to my school.
You need an apostrophe there. That's possessive.
Mm-hmm.
God. Yeah, that's a big one. Or the other way around, like using a apostrophe in a plural.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's it possessing? Shut
Right.
the fuck up.
You're about to be possessing my foot in your ass.
Do you guys? Any of you guys go to college?
I
Yes.
did.
You did.
I didn't.
3 times. Dropped out 3 times.
3 different colleges?
Same community college.
Okay.
In Port Huron, St. SC4.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, it took me 3 schools in 7 years. So.
All right.
Yeah. For me, it was I just wanted to be a rock star, you know. So
Yeah.
like when I graduated
Yeah.
high school, I wanted to go on tour, and we got like a tour or whatever, and I was like, "Fuck you, mom and dad, I'm dropping out
Nice.
of college." And then I was like, "That didn't amount to anything." I
Oh, weird.
spent 30 days on the road and played 4 shows. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to school again. And then we got like offered another tour, and I was like, "Fuck you, mom and dad." This time you're gonna see it's gonna work out, you know.
Why don't you support my dreams?
And then I came back and then waited a year, and I was like, I wanted to be a criminal psychologist really bad.
Nice.
And so I was like, fuck this, screw this. Like, band. I'm still gonna play music, but I'm not gonna go on tour. And literally, as soon as it was like this last day to like withdraw from the classes and get your money back from your books and stuff, we get this like call. Our band, this guy in this other band called The Used, was like, "We want to take you guys out on a tour," and I was like, fuck you, mom and dad. But it was all my fault. And
Fuck
my
you,
parents
criminal
really couldn't care
psychology.
less of what I want. They just wanted me to be happy. So,
Yeah.
but
Man, you could have been like you could have been Chris Hansen.
I
you
could
know?
have. We're talking
Is that
about,
someone in the band Hanson?
No, that's the guy who used to catch the pedophiles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't. Is that what he was before the show as a criminal psychologist?
Well, I don't know. I have no idea. I was just
really
Alex is just
fascinated with
obsessed with
serial murderers
pedophilia.
when I was like a younger.
I can't get away from it.
Chris Hansen?
No, pedophilia.
Oh,
I have an undergraduate degree in psychology.
do you?
And guess what, everybody? A certificate in women's studies. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
How long did you have to go for both of those?
The certificate I just got at the same time. I mean, it's kind of... I went to the University of Detroit Mercy. I can't talk tonight. And they have no minors. They just do certificates. So you can like do a concentration of... So I did psychology with the...
I thought you meant no one under 18. I was like, well, it is a college.
Yeah, that's
You have
right.
no minor.
I love that Ray's like, yeah, makes sense. That's for groans. No, it's served me quite well. And I don't think a lot of people can say that about their undergrad degree. But now that I'm a dog trainer, like literally I use my psychology background every single day in everything I do, both in terms of like learning theory and in terms of like, oh, this isn't really about your dog. You guys have a really bad relationship and don't communicate well, which, you know, being able to recognize that can really help me like, you know, get through some choppy waters. Because when I'm talking to people, if it turns out that they have issues between themselves, like I could exacerbate those depending on how I address things, especially if they're not dealing with their dog the same way. It's hard to be like, well, you're being a moron and your wife is doing it right. So, you know, I can't say that. I have to be like, okay, I see where this person's coming from. Let's see if we can get everyone on the same page. So I find it's extremely helpful, like both in terms of my ability to counsel people and in terms of like actually understanding how like learning works. So it's great.
That's awesome.
But most people I know are like, my degree is worthless. And I feel for them because most of them also have enormous amounts of student debt. And that's sad. It's really shitty that this country is like, you can go on and get more education and become like a useful member of society. But we're going to saddle you with debt for the rest of your life because we don't value that.
There's also that sort of like a dream that if I, or like the expectations of if I do A, B, and C, D will happen and I'll get this job that I want to go to be. I want to be this person right out of college. But I mean, the reality is you just got to start eating shit even harder. It's like one hurdle after another, and then you think you're on the green side of the pasture, and the hurdles are just closer. Anyways,
I mean, honestly, if somebody like was in high school was asking me, should I go to college? I would tell them no.
Yeah, same.
I would totally tell them no. But I would be like,
here.
what you need to do though is get really fucking good at something useful.
Yeah.
Like have actual useful skills. I mean, there are so many people I know who have desk jobs where if they needed to do anything like physical, like any kind of physical labor, they'd be like, I don't know how to do that at all.
Well, see, I'm kind of going through that right now with my daughter. I mean, she's not in high school yet. She's still in middle school, but she's like dead set on going to college to be a zoologist.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't like discourage anyone from going to college, but I'm not gonna. If I had kids, I wouldn't be like, you have to go to college. You know, I'd just be like, whatever. Like, what do you want to do? Like,
and in the case
what
of
you want to do might not need college.
Exactly, you know? Right. And that's kind of what I mean. It's like, if you're not sure what you want to do, don't just dick around in college.
Right.
Because that's a fucking lot of money to waste when you could be like being like, what? This is what I think you should do, ladies and gentlemen. If you are a youngster wondering what you do with your future, think about what's important to you and what you're passionate about. Find some nonprofits that do work in that area and go volunteer with them and see if that doesn't, if that works for you. Because you might be like, whoa, I don't want to do this. And you won't be $20,000 in debt. You will just be a few hours on a Saturday. And that's way better way to figure shit out.
And also, like, if you're in college and you're just dicking around, you're gonna start hanging out with weird people, and not only are you gonna waste a lot of money, but you're gonna waste a lot of time because you're not being productive because you're just going out and drinking at some dumb frat house every weekend.
Right. I was not doing any of the dumb partying stuff, but I was when I started college. I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do. There was I was like, well, I thought maybe I want to be a music teacher. Maybe I want to go into communications. Maybe I want to be a DJ. Not like douchebags want to be a DJ today. I mean, like on the radio.
You would have been like Diplo.
Yeah, right. Maybe I just want to take my laptop to a coffee shop and make people listen to my tunes. But I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I did feel like I would take a lot of just like prerequisite classes, or like, well, I have to take an art class, so I guess I'll take one and see how that goes. And thank goodness that my dad worked for the University of Detroit Mercy, and one of his perks as a professor was his kids got free tuition, so I only had to pay for books. But that wasn't true when I went to Oakland University, where I took a lot of classes that have served me no purpose in my life and cost me a lot of money. So that I remember taking an art class. I don't remember what kind of art class. I just remember being like, everything in that country is sculpted like a dick. So
With Italy.
Greece.
And they talked about that because she's like, this is the phallic
It's a
period. I'm like,
penis.
I hate this class, and I hate whatever country this is. Yeah, I don't need to see statues of ancient Greek dicks or whatever. That's served me no purpose in my adult life. Didn't make me more cultured. But once before that class, this is literally what I remember the most about this art history class I took. There was a ocean spray, like vending machine in the hallway. And I remember I was so thirsty, and I didn't have any money. And I remember just sitting there because I had like 20 minutes before class started. So I was sitting in the hallway just reading a book and kind of like staring forlornly at this ocean spray machine. And I remember I looked down the hallway both ways and no one was coming. So I just got up and I just touched one of the buttons. That's how much I wanted one. And one came out.
You still don't believe in God.
No, I'm still a resolute atheist, but that was amazing. That was amazing. That was the best day I ever had in that class.
That's kind of like
Cran grape.
That's kind of like when I used to work at the mall in the back. There was this like M&M machine where they just had M&Ms inside of a thing. You just put a quarter in, you turn it, and like a handful comes out.
Oh yeah.
So I would sit there and watch it. I would sit there and watch it, and as soon because it only worked if someone just bought some.
Yeah.
So if someone went and just bought some, I'd wait until they leave, and I'd come in right behind them and just like shake it, and then like another handful comes out.
There was one we had one at school that was always empty because it would turn just enough one way where one would fall out, and you just go back and forth, and they just fall one by one.
Hours later.
Really a terrible dispensing mechanism, honestly. Huge holes in that dispensing mechanism. They should have tightened that up.
That's awesome. What'd you go to school for?
Marketing. It was pretty dumb. I regret it. If I could do it all over again, I would like do.
But you minored in fucking dudes and RVs.
No, not yet. I wasn't fucking in college. It was after college.
Alex was a late bloomer.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. My diploma turned me gay.
That seems totally possible.
No, actually, it wasn't completely after. It was like maybe the last 2 or 3 years of my 7 in college that I turned gay.
It's the putting the tassel to the other side.
That's
That's what turned you gay. Move your tassel.
Moved it over, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Move it to the gay side.
All those professors I could have fucked.
Yeah. No, but yeah, if I could do it over, I would probably do like a political science major, and I would be like some kind of activist.
Nice.
Ugh, that sounds awful.
What? Trying to make society better?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's sometimes
that sounds awful.
I don't know. I think that sounds great.
Activist
honestly.
Alex, that would be fucking insufferable.
When I was in high school, I remember talking to an English teacher.
Change.
She wasn't my English teacher, but she was like everyone loved this woman, and she was one of my sister's English teachers. And I remember saying to her, I'm thinking I might go into political science. And I remember her being like, you'll never use that degree, like a total huffy bitch about it. But because she was like a person that people respected in my school, I was like, oh, maybe she's right. And so I backed off that thought for a long time. So I also like had a really strong interest in that, also in like public planning and stuff. I thought that would be fun and interesting. But
yeah, my goal would be to get assassinated.
There you go. I think that's
that's the only way as an activist you're making a real difference.
Totally. I don't want to say attainable. That is not the word I'm looking for here. That is a lofty. Nope, that's not the word either. I think it's a good goal though for somebody who's an activist to be I want to do such a good job and be such a huge threat to the current system. Yeah. That people want to take me out.
Instead of milk, it would have just been Alex.
Alex is going to be the Gandhi of the gays.
God.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just picturing you as an activist. It just makes me angry.
Makes you angry.
Like what are you picturing?
Just annoying all the time.
Like, are you picturing him in the streets, like yelling, or
Yeah, just
on
like,
TV?
because I like comedian Alex so much, it just wouldn't be like everything serious all the time.
I'd be like a different activist, though. I would bring comedy to activism.
Yeah. What if you were just in
like
the streets? Just
like
telling
I'd be the
jokes?
first one.
Chris Mohan, is that your name?
I'd
Bane
bring,
has like successfully just like taken over the whole seat.
He
and-
sure has. He's like, I'm being quiet. I don't know what else you want. Sit on the floor, Dad.
I always wanted to be a detective. That's what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before. You
Yeah.
totally can. Just find an unsolved case
Yeah.
and then start solving it.
You wanted to sleuth it out.
You're a
I just
detective.
wanted to be like, I want to be a detective, but I don't ever want to be a cop.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hear ya.
You're talking about like an undercover like sleuth.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like tracking serial killers and shit.
Sniffing people's necks and
Yeah.
stuff in the dark.
I don't understand how that fits in at all.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking about like an undercover sleuth.
I mean, I want to
You
be an
could
activist
find
too.
the right,
That's, kinda me. That's my call.
no, you'd rather be something useful like a detective with no jurisdiction.
Yeah. Just a roaming detective.
Yeah, just a guy
you can
who
go anywhere you want.
Yeah.
a guy who can't arrest anyone.
Yeah.
I'll
a
arrest people.
a private detective. Right? Those exist.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like the ones. Oh,
Aren't those like
PI.
failed?
like the ones
detectives, though?
like the ones that Harvey Weinstein hired, right?
Yeah.
like that's the one.
So is a private detective just like
Didn't he
kinda
hire
like
like
Israeli
Spies?
ex-soldiers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he sure did. That's a cool guy. No. Oh,
what
speaking
would he
of
do that
gross,
for? Was it to like dig up dirt on people that were gonna accuse him?
Yes.
Yeah, dig up
In
dirt
fact.
and then intimidate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was after the accusations or before?
That
their-
was, I believe, he.
It was before the accusations
Yeah, I
were
believe-
really
I
I
coming
believe he knew
out.
some shit was gonna.
Mhm.
hit the fan.
I believe he found out that some stuff was about to start coming out, and he was trying to be proactive and counter their dirt with some of his own dirt. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean to say he hired like spies. These people like friended people that he had he's worried they would talk about him abusing or trying to sexually molest them or rape them or all these horrible things that he did. He's like, okay, you become their friend. Like these people infiltrated their lives before being like, now we have shit on you to give to Harvey Weinstein. I mean, that's so fucked up on every level. Like this guy is just such a piece of garbage on every goddamn level.
Can I take it back to like just one step?
Go for it.
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The detective thing, though, I was just thinking about how fucked up that is in general. Not you being a detective,
Yeah.
but the private investigator, somebody who's just like owns a business on their own.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody goes to them and then asks them to like just do weird
Stalk.
shit for them.
Yes.
And then
Stalk this person.
and then
Ray
you're
just wants
just
to
like
stare
out
inside
there
of
being
people's
the
windows.
weirdest person ever, but justifying it
Yeah.
because it's a job.
Totally.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like went through that whole entire circle in my head. It goes like, oh, a detective, and then
When
a
I-
private investigator.
Yeah, that's what Ray wants to be.
Well, you.
I want to be a real detective.
Exactly. So do you see what I'm talking about? Hiding in
Yeah.
the shadows, sniffing their necks.
Now it's making sense.
Now it all makes sense.
I remember one of those true crime shows on like Discovery ID or whatever, where they were talking about this woman who broke up with her boyfriend. He became immediately like not only like horrible stalker, but also she feared for her life. So she moved across the country. Like she dropped her goddamn life and moved across the country because she was afraid this guy would kill her. He hired a private investigator who found her, and the day that he found out where she lived, he went to her house and he killed her. So this private investigator, to me, is an accessory to murder. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. I guess they changed the laws, like in whatever state this guy was originally in, so that like if you have a restraining order against you, you can't hire a private investigator, I guess, to try to find the person who doesn't want you to find them. But yeah, I just remembered like my jaw hit the floor. I just was like, this is the most horrifying thing I've ever heard in my life. This poor woman trying so hard to get away from this sociopathic piece of garbage, and he tracks her down with a private investigator and then goes and murders her.
And he didn't get the private investigator got no shit for
I
this.
do not know.
See, that's you're exactly like the accessory to crime. Also, kind of that boyfriend to me was when he was stalking her was kind of changing his job title to private investigator. So, I mean,
He clearly
all of
wasn't
us have
very good
probably
at
been a
it. 'Cause
private
he's like,
investigator.
I need to hire a pro. I'm terrible at this.
I was to say that. I dabble in private investigating.
yeah.
You know, I think
Yeah, I sit outside ex-girlfriends' houses
Yeah,
every now and then.
I
We got a
become-
restraining order or two.
Seeing what's going on now.
I used to be a private investigator when I used Craigslist before Grindr came out.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
We're all PIs in this room.
We're about to start our own Glory Friends PI division. So if anybody has some private investigator work that they need done that doesn't involve us finding someone that you want to murder, drop us a line. And we'll see what we can do to help you out.
Yeah, that's the sponsor.
Yeah.
Glory Friends
We're
Private
sponsored by
Investigators.
private investigators.
Not privates investigators.
Oh, private
Alex.
Yeah, Alex is like, I'm out.
Well, it depends on what set of privates.
What set of privates?
Yeah,
Oh, you
I
just mean the set.
only investigate Audis.
They also sets too.
What?
So you have to be looking at two of the same thing, or two things that are similar,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like a set of genitals.
balls.
Sure, a ball would be a
So,
set. yeah.
okay, set of balls or like a set of ovaries.
Wouldn't
Is
dick
that
and
what you're-
balls make a set of privates?
Yes, they would.
Not quite the same thing.
No.
Because they're not the same exact.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like there's a pair of shoes.
You
But
know
not
what?
every piece in a
I
drum
do
set's
like
the
it.
same thing.
It's a set.
I like to.
Yeah,
I like
you're
to
right.
call. I like
You're
to
right.
call. I like to call the dick and balls a gift set.
Yeah, dick and
That's a
balls make
set.
a set of privates.
Yeah.
And then like the
People
labia,
constantly
the
learning
clitoris,
with that
the
podcast.
fallopian tubes, the vulva. That's like a menagerie. Is that how-
Menagerie.
there we go.
All right.
I don't even know. I
An
didn't even name all the
assortment.
parts.
An assortment.
Assorted.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
It's a
jewelry
Whitman
box, if you will.
sampler. A jewelry box. That's good. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Oh, boy.
Jewelry
Okay.
box. That's great.
A bouquet.
All right.
I'll
well,
take a bouquet.
we're
You can have the sets. That's fine.
we're at like 56 minutes.
All right.
You got some
Wanna-
extra this week, you guys,
Yeah,
because
we got-
we love you, and you loved every minute of this.
We got Big Time Garbage Fest this week.
Yeah, man. Starts kicking it. It'll be Big Time Garbage Fest week.
Mhm.
Starting with Prankus tomorrow night at LJ's. Then Tuesday night, the Ghost Light. This is going to come out on fucking
Wednesday.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
So sorry you guys missed those shows. They were fun.
Yeah, but you still have time for Leonard Oots on Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Leonard
Yes,
Oots on
the show's
Thursday.
gonna
Leonard
roll.
Oots with Josh Adams, Gad Holland, Melanie Hearn. After party after the show, the secret lineup. Friday night, Kurt Metzger, Annie Letterman, Zach Stein, Big Alex, Privates Investigator Bozanovich,
Nice.
and Jeff Horst on that one. And then another after party, secret lineup. Then Saturday, Todd Barry
Yes.
with Laura.
Mm-hmm,
Laura
mm-hmm.
Wachowski, Blaine Hill, and Brett Mercer. And Mike Cronin's going to do a little guest spot on that one.
Nice.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
Because Laura might be running late, and he has to do a spot. Mike Cronin, very funny guy from Chicago.
I will
Very
not
funny
be
guy.
running late now.
Are you not?
Just so everyone knows.
All
Yeah.
right, sorry, Mike Cronin.
You're out.
Yeah, you lost your
yourself,
guest spot,
Mike.
buddy.
How dare you try to jump on
No,
this?
Mike's still going to do it.
would love to
Mike's
have him
going to be part of the secret lineup after Kurt Metzger. He's going to be guest spotting on Todd Barry.
It's not so secret anymore now.
Well, we give a little hints here and there.
You guys will not be sorry, is the point. You will be sorry if you don't go, because that's dumb.
Super
Definitely
sorry
go.
if you don't go.
Don't do
Yeah,
something
man, go
stupid
get
like go to LA.
tickets available at www.bigtimegarbage.com.
Big Time Garbage Fest.
Big Time Garbage Fest.com.
All right. We will see you guys next week.